Welcome back to our coverage of the Africa Rising Conference of the International Monetary Fund. With me now is Daniel Kablan-Duncan, the Prime Minister of Ivory Coast of Côte d'Ivoire. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. We are talking about Africa Rising and extraordinary growth over the last 10 years across the continent. Can you share with us what is your view of the next 10 years in Africa?
I see, as you mentioned, we have a growth in GDP by 5.5% as an average in Africa, but I think that we can do better. Maybe we can reach at least 7%, and why not a double-digit growth in the 10 coming years if you make some reforms, structural and sectoral reforms, and for instance, improving good governance in Africa, and also while working for peace and security in the region, we can have a more rapid growth in Africa.
What are the main challenges for the next 10 years?
Well, I think that, as I mentioned earlier, the question of stability is really important, political, judicial, and also, a fight against terrorism, as you know, that's really important. We also have an inclusive growth, so that all the people should be part of the development of the growth. That's really important. And also, well, we have to develop the infrastructures in Africa, not only within one country, but also, well, integration with the other countries, so that we can make big markets. For the case, I know the case of West African countries, you know that we have ECOWAS, group in 15 countries, and with a population of 300 million people. So that's a market for investors. If you improve the environment of business, and if you make this investment in infrastructure, school and education, we have to create the basis of growth in Africa.
What about Côte d'Ivoire? You have trouble in the past, the country is recovering from a civil war and a contested election, but now we are seeing very rapid growth. How do you see the short term on economic growth in your country?
What we have to have in mind that before the crisis, we have a stable country for 1960 to 1999, before the military coup. And then we have, as you mentioned, some difficult periods. But since the election in 2010, we are back now for development. And in 2012, for instance, GDP rose by 9.8%. And last year in 2013, we have GDP growth around 9%. And this year we expect a double-digit growth. But the President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, President Alassane Ouattara, wants to turn the country, Côte d'Ivoire, into an emerging market by 2020. 7 years.
How do you do that? What reforms do you need to do that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have to make structural reforms and sectoral reforms, because we cannot have a high-speed growth if you don't make reform. For instance, if we want to attract the business sector, we want to, to shorten formalities, for instance, to diminish the cost of formalities, and also to offer to investors who are coming to the country infrastructure, so that they can, made quick travel or trip within the country. And also, you have to work on regional integration to a bigger market. For instance, mobile phone in Côte d'Ivoire, we have 20 million mobile phone out of 24 million people living in Côte d'Ivoire. That's about 80%. So that's big changes, but that can attract more foreign investors in Côte d'Ivoire.
A key aspect of attracting foreign investors in Côte d'Ivoire is going to be your new sovereign bond that you are hoping to issue very, very soon. Could you give us an update of where we are with the sovereign bond?
So we have launched, let's say, $500 million US, and we have 3 banks who have been chosen: Citibank, the French BNP, and also the German Deutsche Bank. And also we are making the rating of the country with Moody and Fish. And we have a discussion with them next week. We hope that that will be completed by the end of June, and we have the money in July.
So you are hopeful that Côte d'Ivoire will have a bond in July?
We're really hopeful because from what I know, I think, there will be a success on that. Because of the reform made in the country and the high level of GDP growth in Côte d'Ivoire and the future of Côte d'Ivoire.
Daniel Kavlan Duncan, Prime Minister of Côte d'Ivoire, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you again. Thank you.